The mice made their way out of Central Park and across town over to Jeremy the Jerk, a Jamaican jerk chicken restaurant named after its owner. Jeremy is a human friend of the ninja mice. His Michelin-rated restaurant is very popular and well known for its fusion cuisine and use of curry and spices. Jerk is a style of cooking native to Jamaica in which meat is dry rubbed with a very hot spice mixture called Jamaican jerk spice. Arriving at the restaurant, the mice are greeted warmly by their old friend Jeremy. They don't see each other as often as they like. Jeremy is always busy running his very successful restaurant, and the mice, well, they're busy being ninjas, saving the world or helping others. The mice are seated at a quiet part of the restaurant with a little more privacy. "What can I get for you kids tonight?" asked Jeremy. Because it was Food Friday, the mice were open to trying anything. Jeremy suggested chicken roti, a dish rich in spices, chickpeas and potato, an incredible meal that he thought would excite their taste buds. The mice were all eager to try it, especially Buffy. And when the food came, they were not disappointed. The mice feasted like kings as they reminisced and caught up with their old friend. They told Jeremy about how their abilities had been enhanced by the full moon. Jeremy is always amazed at what the mice can do. He asked what new aspects of the chi force they have learned. The mice tell him that they have learned how to temporarily pass on their chi growth. That means they can also make someone else grow like they grow during a full moon. But they can only do this when they are touching them. Powerful Asumari Grandmasters like Greenspan can touch once, and the affected individual can then remain enlarged for the entire night. It was all very fascinating for Jeremy. Their conversation was interrupted by other restaurant patrons wanting to pay for their bill. Jeremy excused himself from the table to serve the other customers. The mice witnessed people giving Jeremy money in exchange for their meals. They were puzzled and wondered about the concept of money. When Jeremy finished, the mice asked him, "What is money? Where does it come from and why do people use it?" They also described for him how they trade for things they need at the flea market in New Mouse City. Thousands of years ago, humans lived in caves and did not use money, Jeremy explained. Our ancestors were hunters and gatherers, and some were simple farmers. When they needed to eat, some would hunt for things like buffalo. If they were successful, they would eat. If not, they would starve, sometimes to death, if they could not find things to pick and eat. For those who were successful at hunting, and who needed other things like clothes or shoes, they would make it out of the leftover skin of the buffalo. Some hunters were very good at hunting and were successful most of the time. Others were much better at making things like clothes or tools and weapons than hunting. Because of these different skills and abilities, people decided it was better to focus on what they were really good at than to try to do everything themselves. The hunter would only hunt, the craftsman would only make tools and clothes, the farmer would grow and gather food. This meant there would be more food available because hunters were better at hunting, farmers spent more time growing more food, and craftsmen made more and better quality things. This is what we call specialization, to focus on producing the things that we are really good at so we can make more of it. What our ancestors did every day is what we today call jobs. When our specialized ancestors needed other things, they traded each other for it. One buffalo might be equal to 5 spears or 10 coats, and one coat might be equal to 1 basket of food. But bringing buffaloes, coats, and baskets of food with you everywhere you go so you can trade when you see something you like is not very convenient or practical. People invented money as a convenient way to trade with each other. Money can actually be anything. People who trade with each other just have to agree with what they will use as money and how much things are worth. Historically, cattle, salt, grains, and even seashells have been used as a form of money. We later used gold and silver as money because they can be standardized where each piece can be made exactly the same. Historically, people have faith in gold and believe it has value because others will accept it as payment or will trade you things for it. It is only in very recent history that we started using printed paper as money. Paper money only has value because our government says it does. As long as people have faith in the power and ability of our government, people will believe paper money has value. But in many other places around the world, some people do not have faith in their country's government. Because of this, the paper money of those countries is backed by gold deposits held at a bank or by the government. That means if you take the paper money to the bank or the government, they are supposed to give you back the amount of gold it represents. So paper money, Jeremy explained, is a lot like coffee crisp chocolate bars, except that it was a lot more convenient to carry around and trade with, and it doesn't expire or go bad. The mice loved learning about the history and different forms of money from Jeremy. "Wow, Jeremy, you're so smart. You should be a financial advisor," they said. "Oh, I was, but that was in a previous life," said Jeremy. "Before I opened my restaurant, I used to work on Bay Street in Canada. Bay Street is Canada's version of Wall Street. I was an investment advisor there. It was rather boring and I didn't like my job. I'm much happier doing this." The mice and Jeremy have been friends for a long time, but they did not know about this former life in Canada. They wondered what it must have been like as they enjoyed the last morsels of their chicken roti, savouring chunks of spicy goodness and flavour explosions. Jeremy has always given the mice delicious food and taken care of them, but this was the first time they thought about money. "Well, Jeremy, we don't have any money to pay for our meal, but we do have some coffee crisp and plenty of other Halloween candies. Can we give you some candy instead?" Nyes asked on behalf of everyone. "Oh, that is so sweet of you to offer, but it's not necessary, my friends," Jeremy replied. "As I always like to say, price is what you pay, value is what you get. I value our friendship. Your company is worth more to me than any amount of money or candy you could ever give me. Now, who wants a second serving?" "I thought you'd never ask," Sorrel said with a relieved grin. "May I please have 2 more for takeaway? I'm going to visit Diana and Nadia after dinner." "It's so good. I'd love some, but I'm still working on my first," Nyes replied. "You're such a slow eater," Renee teased. How about a 3rd serving for me?" Buffy asked sheepishly with a big greasy grin. Jeremy was thrilled to know the mice loved the meal and wanted more. That evening, the mice were well fed. After dinner, Jeremy sent them home with a care package of extra chicken roti for everyone.